3, 2, 1. And come on, let's vape. Welcome to the VAbE, the podcast, or the VAbE experience.
And we're live.
Yo,
Hey. I guess. So that was one of the most peculiar intros that.
Jay didn't make a noise.
Oh yeah, Jay.
please.
हम लोग really live हैं कि
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're
चौथा
live.
वाला
So
trial है.
We are alive and live.
and be bitchin'.
Welcome to Unplugged and Undrugged. May I take your order, please? Sorry.
No, so getting back to the
One
podcast,
Nanari.
we are the VAbE, and we've got Mr. V, myself, into the room, AB Chan,
Hello.
and we've got our bro from a different Mo. That's
Hey, everybody. What's
Varun.
up? Yes. Today we
And-
don't have caffeine and we have a better substitute for caffeine.
Oh,
actually.
absolutely.
And it's not matcha tea by any chance.
It's definitely close to that, but definitely not that. And for the fourth one, we've got someone who's been there with me since a while, helped me get a lot of fresh perspectives in life, and here to sort of speak to all of us and bring in his experience to everyone. That's Jay.
I
Hello
mean,
everyone.
those were pretty good times, huh? I mean,
Oh yeah.
when you had introduced
Yeah,
me to him.
Tonight's episode is actually a full circle.
Which Virat,
Coming
which is one of the
together.
rock songs that reminds you of me.
She will. And wherever I may roam.
Wow, man. Wow.
Yes, I guess.
whiskey in the jar.
Oh yeah. Oh, whiskey in the jar, definitely. And Ronin,
Which one?
Metallica.
Yeah. Metallic.
Virat, which song reminds you of me? सोचना पड़ रहा है.
Spot पे डाल दिया. They were
ये कौन सा
अभिषेक-
गाना है? Which
अभिषेक
artist
ये-
is it?
ये कौन सा गाना है? हाँ यार ये बता ये कौन सा
अभिषेक
गाना
मेरे
है?
को
That reminds you of
that-
पे डाल दिया.
uh, yeah,
I
the
feel मैं आज
spotlight.
हिंदी बोलना चाहता है.
No,
हाँ,
let's
Hindi.
let's just stick to English for the larger audience, perhaps. Just to that, but
Sure.
Yeah, we have 100 billion population.
on the space of Earth.
On
100 billion.
And pretty funny, Mr. Beast was saying the other day that less than 10% people in the world speak English. So he was in a way saying that you should have, in order to grow, make more money on YouTube, you should
Multiple
have
languages.
exactly.
So that's what we
He
did,
started
right?
a Hindi channel as well.
I guess then maybe the central topic for tonight should be something on those thoughts. Let's think
oh.
about that.
Can you say
Maybe
it again?
maybe bring
Which
in
thoughts are
something to
these?
do with how do you really make more money,
money,
or
business,
businesses, or
content.
how typical businesses around you that you've seen closely, how do that typically work? Where can we work towards making that bigger buck? Have we made it? Maybe not, but that's something which we can certainly bring to the table. There's going to be certain deep talks, certain math as well involved into it. But yeah, I guess that's something for the better set of people. So yep, tonight the theme is businesses.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
See, someone's happy.
Someone's really happy, ecstatic. So yep, maybe let me try and set some premise here. In the room, we've got 3 very strong business owners, me aspiring to be one, and a lot of learning which they've sort of faced, possibly bringing out things of things that worked for them, things that actually didn't work for them, maybe the 2 cents, and like Varun, that we've been doing. What would you tell your 18-year-old? That'll be something interesting, and probably even touch a bit upon certain tools, probably things to read from or learn from.
Yeah, we do this thing where what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? And I think looking at
18-year-old
Jay's
self.
smile, I would say he would just tell him, man,
You've done it.
go to a go-go bar and party, man. Continue doing that.
Life's a party. Always should be one. So yeah, that's going to be kind of the central theme. Nothing hard and fast, but something to really speak upon. So the gentleman of the hour, AB. Still want to take that back seat?
I don't understand. Like, this is our 6th podcast, right?
Yep.
If a person's been ducking for the first 5,
You- so someone in the previous podcast has been telling me that how much persistent can you be? That was with women, but this
it's
is
so
with a brother, man.
uncomforting. Na? I mean, when we start applying amongst ourselves. If
think-
let's say we hold each other accountable every hour or every time we meet, just imagine.
That's gonna be something.
That would be a good test to friendship actually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think we should be talking about how to do business while traveling, or how to
Oh yeah. For sure.
make traveling a business. Otherwise,
Do business while traveling or
Because
I mean,
this is,
let's
you know-
talk about everything under the sun.
okay.
So how our journeys have been so far till here.
That makes sense.
And
This
then
is
we
this is
open
the
up,
third pivot.
and then we open the the conversation to the
Absolutely. I
possibilities
think
of
that's
the
gonna make a
travel
lot of
bit
sense.
and
Yeah.
fitness
Let's
bit,
get deeper then.
everything.
Correct. For sure. So I guess maybe I'll hand it off to
Jay.
to begin with his journey into business. What did he learn? Where did he learn from?
so
Yeah.
of course you all guys know that it's a family business.
Mhm.
So since my childhood, I've been going on the vacations. I've been going to my dad's workplace,
Okay.
and I saw him grow,
Hmm.
and he turned into a big one of the big fish. And I joined business 2013,
At the age of
19 August 2013,
At the age of 23.
at the age of 23.
wow.
Yeah. So that was a tough time when I joined, because the economy wasn't doing good. There were new reforms coming in, the government changing and all.
Hmm.
And my journey till now has been tough, challenging, and happy, because I have overcome most of them.
Hmm.
There's a lot of learning into it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess in India especially, should I be touching the government thing or no?
Oh, you can maybe at a different plane altogether.
I'm already on 5 hit lists, so come on, you can challenge me on that one.
but still coming back, I guess you can touch a bit upon that as well. Maybe whatever you're.
No, I
comfortable
guess today every businessman is facing troubles because of the changing government reforms, the laws each
Yeah.
every day and night, and the COVID, and a lot of things happening.
Hmm.
So yeah, tell me something which I am actually working on.
with. Okay.
Since now is the time when people are either home or they are in the hills or somewhere
Right.
offbeat and working from there.
Correct.
So like we earlier spoke about cloud.
Cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Data centers.
Tell me something about that.
That also will cover because I've had that journey in terms of learning about these businesses. So when I talk about myself into I've pretty much been a salaried employee with majority of my life, but I too did start off my journey with working at my father's business. But I guess that business is no longer sustaining. That's a separate story for a separate day. But I mean the grind began in the 9th grade for me in terms of every vacation just going out there, putting in the work, learning new things, maybe starting from as simple as sweeping the floor to sort of understanding very very complex machineries like turning or drilling or maybe grinding as such. But then again, so
You like that word?
oh yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah, fuck yeah. But no, in terms of things that I've learned over there was typically more of very very raw level of sales, typical factory management, tooling as a tool, as a skill set. Need to practice that, but that's a separate thing. And internet at that time was something which was very very new. So trying to bring your business on the internet, that was something very very different at that particular point of time. ERPs, yep, one good life skill set. But then after which, my journey typically began in working with various organizations as such. So I mean, it started off with consulting organizations, moved on to hardcore sales into SaaS products. we did have a smaller run on transportation services. And then I've been sticking on more on the SaaS front and the cloud front. So I do understand certain businesses from the inside, but never owned one. This year started off two separate side hustles. But again, the core still came from somewhere. It was still more of a partnership where things are moving really, really slow and smooth for now. But I guess we're picking up pace there also. So, yep, in a nutshell, that's been my sort of journey. But certainly, we'll talk about certain clouds. Maybe what is our opinion on how things are going to be later on for people who are working. So I met someone yesterday. She's based out of Manali, uh, and she's been working as a very senior sales executive with one of the larger SaaS organizations, and she's doing really well. I mean, she's making her buck and also going into her
and
role.
also working in Manali or here back in Mumbai.
So she's working out of Manali, and as a side hustle, she's even an influencer.
Oh,
Yeah. More of travel
He is
influence.
very
Okay.
interesting.
no.
That
I mean,
was like
I side hustle is what excited me.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something which is much required. So, AB, how has your journey been so far in terms of businesses? How have you seen businesses?
I believe my entrepreneurial journey started when I joined this organization, Crazy Fox.
Okay.
Sorry, Crazy Bee.
Yeah.
Crazy Fox is my current employer. So basically, there I was
You can't
given-
get away from crazy ever.
yeah.
It's always the
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a sticky name, huh?
Uh-huh.
So there I was the city head, and it was a startup. So we, as a city head, you had to manage the zones, like the entire city's PNL.
Yep.
We were given HR support, wherein the recruiter used to filter out the profiles and send the relevant ones to me. So I was the HR in a way.
Yeah.
First and last round, एक ही round होता था,
Uh-huh.
है ना? So that's how I got a little proficient or probably better in
Mm.
taking interviews. And you're given a bigger scope of work. I mean, the responsibilities that you have, it's kind of an autonomy you have over a city.
Mm.
So the powers were such. So that's when I realized, understanding the business deeper, because before that, probably 6-7 years,
Mm.
I was just an employee wherein I would never know what was our monthly billing,
Okay.
what is our product price or anything.
Yep.
And then in 2019 is when things starting taking place basically.
Yeah.
Like I was the co-founder at Talenzo.
Yep.
That's when we started, and we used to work with TikTok. So again, your responsibilities, once they increase, that's when you are penetrating deeper into the learnings of the organization.
True.
Business wise.
True.
And that is what helped me start off Talenzo. And then again, it was a good run. And due to COVID,
Mm.
we had to shut down. And then I went on co-founding series of companies basically. So we pivoted to a furniture company in 2020.
Yeah.
And again, that's been going good. And then for some reason I had to leave. And then now again, I'm seeking employment. But the entrepreneurial journey basically. And again, like I do have side hustles.
Yep.
Wherein I do influencer marketing on the side as well. I just got 2 clients
Mm.
basically. Then like with the money that I made, I started making my buck since
Yeah.
2019. And I've been, in a way, whatever surplus that I had and whatever risk that I could take in terms of personal loan, I've only invested. So I have also invested in vocational courses, coaching institute in Rishikesh,
Yeah.
wherein we are trying to provide quality education at a very affordable price.
Mm.
And again, it's going decent basically.
Yeah.
And then again, something that we are working together on.
True. Yep.
The two projects. I mean,
Right. And
one being VAbE and the other being Creator.
so I guess VAbE as a business, I don't think.
No,
it's
VAbE is
been-
not a business.
It's
Basically,
more like
we are investing in passion.
Oh yeah. That's a
Passion.
passion.
Yeah. And let it take whatever shape it
education
wants
too.
to actually.
Education is a big sector.
Oh, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's two of the businesses which Warren Buffett suggests, right? One is insurance, and the other one is education.
Okay.
So he, yep. So these two businesses will never go out of business. Is what
Insurance is doing good in when there is COVID, when there are wars happening, when there is so much instability between the countries.
and look where we are.
Insurance, is it really doing good?
So that's typically the strategy which was recommended back then.
So he's talking about the publicly traded companies.
Yeah.
And more from what I inferred when you said insurance was like the companies that sell insurance.
Correct.
They're making money.
Yeah.
The companies providing insurance, God
No.
knows and God bless.
I just got my insurance day before yesterday. I just got my insurance day
This
before
this is your
yesterday.
first time.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Oh.
did it 2 years back. And again, it's a relief when you have one.
Oh, true.
Oh, my
Oh.
CA told me you have to save tax. I'm like, okay, get insurance.
Oh, seriously? Before this, he never said
no,
that?
No. Before this, I mean, he did, but I think that was last year. So
Okay.
I did it by the end of the year.
Hmm. And the one who's left, the one who's been
So
actually
insurance
entrepreneur.
mein one you take for yourself, that is also tax deductible, and what you pay for your family is also deductible.
Exactly.
So it's a very good thing actually.
Hmm. And now, Varun, I guess one of those old-time entrepreneur which I have seen. He
Oh,
had
I
this.
really loved it
Absolutely.
when I came to know that he's opened a cafe,
Oh, true.
and I was like, wow.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
like
It's not
I-
wow, it's wow.
wow, it's wow. Apparently, yes.
No, so I mean, I arrived there by basically you get burned trying to do. So my whole philosophy back then was if you do what you love, you don't have to work a single day in your life. I mean, there is a certain truth to it.
Yeah.
But along with it comes, harsh responsibilities
Yep.
and the harsh reality. I mean, the reality is out there. You can either agree with it or ignore it.
True.
And there's an old joke that what is the difference between a pizza and a jazz musician? A jazz musician can, a pizza can feed a family of 4. Okay, so I was a rock and roll musician for.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to hang around and jam in college and in
Mm.
school and all that.
Yeah.
So I pursued that as a career.
Yep.
And along by the side of being a performing musician, I opened up my own academy. I taught at a music school earlier.
Mm.
So I pretty much became this self-employed person. Okay.
True.
So I'm teaching, I'm hustling, I'm performing shows, I'm flying to different cities, underslept and under rehearsed and whatever. And I'm being hired by Bollywood artists to be the backing member. My job is to make them sound good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And make us sound good as well.
Okay, correct. Now
He's
we're
been
on to
helping
the
us
studio.
out.
So that I did that for quite a bit, but then I
Mm.
realized that it's not gonna for me. Okay,
Yeah.
there are people who have made their fortunes in music and everything, but the good old 80s are gone, where you could just play 3 chords, write a good rock song, and be a millionaire and live in a mansion
think we
and
should
be
listen to
AC/DC or Motley Crue.
We should
Okay.
listen to one now.
Yeah.
There's
So-
guitar right behind it.
Yeah, we'll do some jamming after the podcast is done. No
Sure,
problem.
sure.
No Zeest songs, okay?
No,
Like
like,
we played one.
like everybody should hear one, right?
I believe at the end of this podcast, instead of every time we try to add a song,
Maybe we can add a unplugged.
his performance.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
That's good.
We could do something like that. Okay. So I figured that I'm not gonna make any generational wealth doing this scene, especially in India, where
Yeah.
it's like Bollywood music is the overlord. Okay.
True.
And people who do any other music otherwise are they don't make as much. Anyway, so I'm
Hmm.
deviating from the topic. So
No, it's a good topic.
come 2020 when the lockdowns happened, the whole entertainment industry, the performing industry, event industry, everything went
Hmm.
down to pretty much zero.
Yeah.
That's when I decided I need to set something up. And I had been listening to a lot of entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
listening to podcasts like these, watching interviews and this and that. So I wanted to set something up, and luckily I found my partner Ansar, who is also a musician. He was just exiting the speaker manufacturing business.
Yeah.
And so we both set up a cafe. We studied the business. We realized, okay, in business, you get rewarded not for your direct effort, not for your concept and all that. You get rewarded for setting up systems.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the main scene.
I'll
That
agree, yeah.
your functionality in every aspect should be so dumb proof that
Mm.
any level of your employee can enter, just follow the protocol and get it done.
Get it done. Yeah.
Okay, so you're set. Matlab,
True.
you can scale it as much as you want. Now,
True.
I mean, tomorrow if you walk away, then what?
Yep. So
You
the
could be
dependency levels.
Yeah, you could be in Goa or Manali. I mean, as much as I wish I could be in Goa or Manali and
Mm.
working from a distance, sort of a thing, but I can't do it just yet. My systems are not so strong and in order
Mm.
that I can do that. So systems was one thing. So then we set the cafe up. I already had my recording studio functioning prior to that. And the thing is, again, the whole recording studio thing was also, I was self-employed. So this is the thing. I mean, coming back to, we spoke about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the
So
book.
I guess the one thought I always associated you with was never to go corporate as such. I mean, going for a job. I remember us sitting and speaking that the things that you can do, Virat,
Hmm.
is not what I can ever do. Have a iCard around my neck and sort of
Yeah,
go
I
and
mean,
put in the work. And
I did that.
I
for a
remember,
good 2
yeah.
years, and I realized that. So here's the thing: I collected checks on my employer's behalf from their clients.
Yeah.
And then I saw that amount, and then I saw the amount I was getting paid personally, and I was like, man, this is not happening. This is like 20x of my salary.
True.
Is my employer's fee from one client. Not
Wow.
even. I'm not even talking all the clients in the month, all receivables and all. Just one client. So
True.
I said, this. I'm not going to work a corporate. See, some people have their strengths. They are
True.
not cut out to be entrepreneurs. They don't like to
That-
go and
Yeah,
have a direct effort to ownership reward each and every day down in the trenches.
agreed.
Some people have that temperament. Some people have the temperament that a corporate job is the best thing for me. I work the best as an inside guy,
Hmm.
as an entrepreneur being the outside guy. Okay, you can look at it that way. As an inside person in a corporation or an outside person as a freelance employer,
yeah.
trying to make your impact in the world.
Right.
So yeah, so that's how the cafe happened. We studied the cafe business. We realized a lot of people are, charging a lot of money and they're not even delivering, half as good as the quality.
True.
So the bar is set really low, by the way. So all you have to do is just, curate good things,
Yeah.
understand the tastes of people. And when I used to perform at these cafes, after every show was over, you
Mm.
would find me sitting with the barista, trying to understand, okay, how do
I
you
remember,
make a
yeah.
espresso lungo and how do you do a cinnamon mocha latte and this and that?
Ye-
So
Even to the tune that you had purchased that small little whisker. What?
Whisker was the start. Then I purchased another coffee machine. Then
Correct.
bled a lot of money into beans and all that, trying to grind it different ways. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that thing happened. A lot of girlfriends helped me devise the best coffee that I could make. But then,
Focus on girlfriends. Okay.
so anyway, so that's how the
But yeah.
cafe thing happened.
Mm.
What was the question? I forgot. Oh, the corporate sector.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is something that I don't have it in me to do it. I just wanted to set up my own thing and just go my own way.
I guess
think
you
the
started off
same
with-
thing. I agree.
yeah.
I mean, one thing I saw in Jay also
Hmm.
is the same thing. He
Correct.
wants to be his own man. You
Absolutely.
want to stick it up to the man and say, you know what, I'm gonna be. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. I'm gonna go out there in the universe and try to make my own dent. I'm not gonna follow you into the color in the boxes that you want me to color. Otherwise, he could have been kick-ass in a Motilal Oswal or a whatever.
No,
Okay, he's
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Maybe with Bear Grylls.
No, about systems when you are talking about, I think with the need of it, it comes. Like when you when you have the feel ki now I wanna grow. So then that's the step when you not used to mics in front of me or something like this. So I was talking about. Is it good now?
systems
check,
and the
check.
ability
Lower
to
it if
scale.
you're not able to see it.
Yeah. That's just for our listeners so that they can hear
Just
you.
adjusting the
really
mic.
clear.
Okay.
Special listeners.
Yeah, about the system, right? Yeah. So it's the need. it's the push in you that if you want to grow and then you think you are getting competitive in the market, so that's where you come the push. Sometimes it's also jealousy, and you drive it in the right direction.
Correct.
And and also about you were talking about the last thing.
The corporate sector. Corp-
No,
being
before
an
that.
being
Motilal
an
Oswal.
oh, Motilal Oswal. Yeah.
No, when I came into business, right, it was the need of it where I had to do my things alone, and there was support, not enough, surely, because the support I was expecting from my parents, my elders, they were also busy into things. As I told you, it was a busy, tough time, right? So I had to do it. That was my need because I had to do it. So
Yeah.
I grew in it, and then I got confident that I did it, and I
Right.
want to do more, right? And for doing more, I need systems because I want to, if I have a business here and I want to expand. I recently um, started my business in Madhya Pradesh also. So
Wow.
I know how difficult and how much push you require, and but systems, and nowadays with the cloud thing, with the all the apps and everything, so it's all online and it's easier. In fact, if you will have to depend on it, and I think you should
Right.
smartly depend on it. And but also humans are required, trustworthy, loyal, and that is a part of system, I would say.
So I guess maybe you're looking at it not as a system, but more as a structure, which has to have a healthy balance of, say, certain human elements also at the right place at the right
Exactly,
level.
exactly. Yeah, of course.
So one
It depends
yeah.
upon the sorry. It depends
Sure,
upon the
sure.
business to business. I am
Agreed.
into infrastructure,
Right.
so it is human based business,
Right.
and a lot of human is involved.
Right.
So also when you grow, you need systems. Some systems is not always about technology,
Agreed.
right? I think we are getting a picture here that I'm talking about technology, the cloud thing, and all of that.
Mm.
It also requires which is the best way, the protocol to run your business.
Right.
Structure, the model,
That's what, if that is the structure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or the organization structure.
so that you can
Correct.
replicate
Right.
time and again.
You need people, dependable people.
Oh, true.
Business, in my eyes, I feel it is all about creating dependencies.
Okay.
In a competitive market, and even nowadays, it's very difficult to
No,
create a
I'm
dependency.
no. I'm so sorry. I was
Like-
talking internally, the employees, like an employee.
Should be dependent.
Then it is very
Thriving.
people do their job
Yeah.
efficiently.
Yeah.
That way, and once they know, the turnaround time is less, and one needs to follow that. So I believe the efficiency increases.
So the bells and whistles is what you're trying to say, that maybe a particular department has a 24 hours turnaround, and basis that department, the next department is dependent on the work.
Correct. So everyone has to be motivated.
So
That
I
way.
remember this sort of a structure with the first job that we were working together. That was back in the days for KPO, where we were transcribing.
Correct.
So those dependencies, if you remember, from an level 1 to
Yes.
editor to level 1 to
Transcriber, edit level
Correct.
1, edit level 2, edit level 3, and then
Then
auditor.
audit.
And every person was motivated not to waste their time because
There was dependencies.
Yeah, there were penalties and
Agreed.
a lot of consequences that way.
Agreed.
So people perform efficiently. The turnaround time is also relatively small. At
Mm.
least this is what I've encountered in the businesses and even in the company that I'm now.
Right.
So I keep telling my managers, you have to create dependency.
Sometimes I think that I want to work in a big firm and to know how they
The structure.
handle
Agreed.
such a big business and the
Agreed.
structure, how
Correct.
they treat. Because here, in my business, the salaries are not so huge, and there is a difference in the huge difference in the salaries.
Right.
Huge jump, huge difference in the terms of senior manager and a junior one. So
Got it.
There's a difference. About dependency and about the motivation. What I do with my employees, I don't go and say the command. Yeah, this is what you have to do.
Hmm.
That is it. No, I go. This is what we need to do.
Yep.
This is what is your role, and
Hmm.
this is the whole thing about. So why are we doing this?
Right.
And when they understand the need of the company, not me, the company,
Yeah.
where they are working in,
Right.
then they are motivated. and then
Agreed.
and this is this is where they feel that their actions have actually benefited the company. So they
As
have
in the
this self
direct
respect.
impact. Yeah.
They grow their self respect,
Mm.
and I push it more. This is a
True.
trick.
True.
This is a trick. I push it more.
So I'll give you one. I'll draw a very nice parallel to this. So when I was in KPMG, the same concept was actually tried and marketed to a lot of employees, called as higher purpose. All right. So it was amazing. They had done a full blown marketing campaign internally for people to realize that sure, you have a job, you have a regular set of your key roles and responsibilities which is defined for you, but your current key roles and responsibilities are reaching to a higher purpose.
Exactly.
So, first off, having responsibilities on your own work, and at the same time, thinking about a higher purpose in life in terms of not just maybe your personal growth, but even the organizational growth, so that you and the organization are growing together. So that was kind of a story which they tried to draw. It's a constant sort of a battle which you want to have with your employees. So doing this from a top down approach, that is the owner speaking the same to their immediate leadership, speaking to the bottommost guy, that's a beautiful place to be. Because I remember this was just one conversation where one of the say CEOs of KPMG had this with the larger masses, that this is the higher purpose which we are talking about. But if tomorrow my manager is speaking to me in those languages, or perhaps maybe once in a while whenever I'm interacting with the higher above, they have the similar concept of a higher purpose and sort of working to a larger goal. Amazing, simply amazing. Where the place where you actually would want to be, because culture always flows top down. So whatever you're doing at the steering, that's something which you are going to definitely inculcate. So as a bottommost employee, I guess for me, I was very, very crucial in terms of what sort of culture I'm working with as well. So this is something which I would ideally love to be in terms of understanding that, maybe my 1 cent is going to, sort of trickle into something larger, and perhaps understanding this overall concept of growing within that organization. Amazing. I mean, that's just my two satoshis on it.
I think it has its drawbacks as well.
Yeah.
When you share too much with your employees, with your
Agreed.
colleagues, it has its drawbacks because some people can move to different companies. They have their different motivations for
Right.
that, and your goals are, of course, can be misused.
So trade secrets is something which I would ask you to withhold, but having a mission vision of your organization which can be actually driven out, that's something which is very, very
I
brilliant.
think it has to grow in the company, and especially it happens with when you're having employees who have their attachment with the growing organization or
Yeah.
the firm, whether they're working.
Correct.
The new ones, of course, they look at money first, then of course, the attachment with the company, the people around, your leader,
Mm.
it has to grow. It has to grow in you.
It should ideally. People are so. I mean, this one was actually dropped as a bomb in the last podcast by Varun. That was about having the Maslow's need hierarchy. So every individual has a particular requirement and a need from anything or everything in life. So typically that is projected onto your jobs as well, right? So like you said, that if someone has to stick on in a particular organization, how can I bloody get their loyalty? So there are various bands into it. If we Google, and I mean, it starts off with as basic as your salaries and everything. Then it moves on to food. Then it moves on to people. You're looking out for people to be working with. And finally, the top of the triangle was actualization, self actualization. So, how spiritually are you connected to a particular need as such? And
Correct.
what sort of a spiritual benefit are you getting out of it? That's somewhere where you want to be. Uh, Although it's amazing in books as well, but when you see it from a larger perspective, I think every organization might just be benefiting from understanding how the need analysis, the need uh, hierarchy works typically. So that'll be something which I'd suggest even the podcasters to really, sort of read about. I mean, I won't really sort of say that I'm perfect at it, but then definitely there've been a lot of trainings which have gone in terms of understanding the need of individual employees as well. So that, these guys are going to be certainly sticking on, like you said, some of them are going to go to various competitors as well. So how do you really, sort of bring in that stickiness with that employee that they feel as a sense of belonging to your
Oh,
organization?
you have to show trust to gain trust.
I agree. That's
That's
very
very important. And
risky but important.
now, of course, you learn your ways that how much to trust.
Yeah.
To make that person feel that you actually trust him.
Correct.
You have got the line between it.
Mm.
So yeah, that's very important that you should know how much to open up. Right.
So communication as a skill
Of
set.
course, you are doing business. You have to play your smart ways. You can't be just you're not a saint.
100%.
You can't make everybody happy.
So what was that? You can't walk through the hell with a halo on your head, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to, wherever you are, you need to sort
Yeah.
of do your thing. Yeah. Mm.
So
No, I really resonate with what Jay said actually.
Mm.
And I'm learning.
True.
As of
So,
now,
so
like,
for me,
right
there's a
here.
lot of learning going on.
The way he said, to make your employees understand that, hey, you're not just a cog in the wheel, you're part of a much bigger picture.
Mm.
And you right now can have your impact right here with the actions you put in
Right.
into this job.
Right.
So reminding them that they are a bigger part of a higher picture overall as an organization.
So maybe you want to try and light that fire of intrapreneurial, wherein you sort of bring in some sense of responsibility, so that this guy is adding on to your business, which is growing above, and definitely that is going to be a fruit which he's going to sort of reap after that also.
Correct. And then the whole thing of, I mean, as like I literally personally do all the hiring and firing also, sadly, for my workplace. And it takes a lot of time. Like it's, I mean, the people that you have to weed out is, and with the, compared to the ratio, the people whom you'll find to be like really good employees is like nearly like 40 to 1 or 50 to 1.
I agree.
Okay.
But you just need that one.
You
one
just
guy.
need that one.
Yeah.
Correct. So you have to eat a lot of bad apples to come across a good one. Is
100%.
pretty much the case here. And it's taxing on a day-to-day basis when you have to like literally go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Take several interviews every day, and you deal with all sorts of things. Okay.
True.
To name a few. So so that's there. And what was I saying? Interviewing people, right? So finding good people is very, like, it's paramount to a business, because that's the thing that takes you the longest, and it's the most worthwhile thing. You need like good dependent people
Agreed.
who will not screw you over, at the right
True.
time, and they run your business smoothly. As an employer, I mean, there is no better feeling than to sign an employee's paycheck at the end of the month.
Agreed.
Okay. Like you feel that, hey, you have so much impact in this guy's life, that they have given you their hours and they have given you so much work.
Families,
and this
families
is
are dependent.
Yeah.
Correct.
Feeding families.
So there's no better feeling than that. And just to get to that point where you find good employees who stick around with you, that's been like a very challenging thing for me so far.
I think
And it's constant hiring and firing.
I think it
just goes on and
running the whole business is an experiment
Hmm.
through like a constant experiment happening.
Yeah, correct.
And I think a good businessman is one who is working for others, working for their first is their close ones, family, the employees, the company, then the country. Right, all the big businessmen, even Tata, you can say Tata is an example. He will make the cheapest car for the country.
True.
Reliance said, I think his dream was that everybody should have a cell phone in the country, in
True.
India. Yeah,
True.
So this is a big. These are the business. I would say, like, they are working for others. For every businessman in India, almost 80% of them have earned enough and to have a good life. And I think the growing ones are the ones who are working for their company with the employees, like the whole ship.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's very easy to give out your assets that you have earned, give out on lease, have a basic income and enjoy your life, and not go through the
Grind and the
so much of it.
Yeah.
Of it. So these are the ones who grow, like, in their life, doing business. They're happy. They are actually contributing.
Creating value.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
they're behind it every day. After a while, the numbers don't matter. It's the expansion and the result, and the
Hmm.
once you've tasted blood, you have it now.
Exactly.
So you
And-
can't take it away from them.
And I guess, I mean, the very close set of people that I've seen have been coming from a more of a of a very well balance of a hand which is not just going to sort of pat the back, but even reprimand at the right time. So by that I mean both empath, but at the same time being stern in places where it is typically required.
Life is a do-it-yourself project.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and you're all in.
Yeah, many a times this happens.
Correct. But-
so, anybody has an idea about why businesses in India are so difficult, and I mean why they are facing so much difficulty, and not in the other countries, and why is our government not doing so much about it?
Perhaps that's a very heavy topic to sort of speak about at a various different plane.
I
as
can
such.
hear the band bells ringing. Right now. Band.
I mean, it also differs, right? The impact of which your inefficient government policies have, the direct impact on your business. Not every business suffers per se, but I believe your business gets impacted directly.
It does,
When-
and I think every
when
business
someone-
suffers. I will tell you how. I'll give you an example. I think it's going to be very technical over this.
Please tell.
So- Yeah, but if you can, dumb it down to us.
Go for it. We'll keep asking.
Government, government. If someone has to rent out a land, industrial land,
Hmm.
if someone rents out to a manufacturing industry,
Yeah.
the one who's giving out on on the rent, he has to pay 4 paisa of tax. I'm giving an example to the government.
4 paisa per
4 paisa.
Oh, okay, all right.
4%.
4%. All right.
And
On that income.
Yeah.
Okay.
on the
rental
income, on the
The
rental,
rental
income.
income.
And to a manufacturing. But if you are renting it out to a IT
Okay.
firm, IT industry,
Yeah.
1.5 times.
One- 1.5%.
1.5% of
The rental income.
The
So
rental income.
That's a 4% to 1.5%.
But of course, what do we need in India right now is manufacturing.
Okay.
Correct? Manufacturing creates so much jobs.
Yeah, make in India.
Make in India.
Correct.
Right? Self-dependence.
Hmm.
But they are charging higher tax. So how
So I mean, the
For-
fiscal policy is
an
such, yeah.
entrepreneur who cannot buy his land, he wants to go out and start manufacturing something he has invented or discovered something,
Hmm.
and he's making a nice product or whatever be,
Hmm.
right? And he has to pay away, and of course, the tax, the extra percentage that is being charged by the rental, the guy who's
Hmm.
giving a rent, the owner of the land,
Hmm.
will charge the
100%. It will
Industry,
be shifted
right?
onto the person who's paying the rent.
exactly. So his product is going to get expensive.
Okay.
So is
4%.
it gonna help
Wow.
the country? So these are the norms,
Hmm.
right? Of course, it is going to get expensive in the market.
Yeah.
The
So-
cost of production is more because of
I'll,
the
I'll,
person is
I'll
charged.
still go out on the limb and maybe try and channelize the podcast back again to entrepreneur and not just the government bit, because that's a very vast topic. To be
Yeah, we'll do a proper
Entrepreneur
episode.
are
And just
definitely going to
just
get
tell me
fiscal
expensive.
policy.
your thoughts.
No, we'll do one proper episode just on government and
the
the
fiscal
impact
policies
Yeah,
and
the
the impacts
difficulties.
that
we
Yeah.
can discuss a lot of books and
Oh,
a lot
absolutely.
of things, a lot of
Absolutely.
philosophies like libertarianism and all that.
True. But then that's what, right? So I mean, here we are right now. What we are trying to do is sort of bring in something from our inside in terms of the entrepreneurial side of things. So the policy bit, I guess it's a bit tricky right now.
So let's talk about this thought. I feel that you bond well with your employee
Mhm.
when you diligently accept the fact that, or you believe that this employee is going to leave me
Hmm.
one day or other,
Hmm.
one day too soon,
Hmm.
and it doesn't matter me. No matter on what note the employee leaves me, no matter how deep you were in a project, and he was very crucial to that.
Hmm.
Once you make yourself comfortable that they will leave me and they will have reason.
Hmm.
I cannot feel it because maybe it's been a very long time that I've been in a job, or
Hmm.
maybe I've never worked at all. Like Varun, you've always been independent, right? So once you believe, and you would understand on what level you connect. And trust, you were talking about trust, right?
Mm.
So that trust is deep. These are the ones will think of you as mentors,
Mm.
and it's not like there's some obligation, but they like that vibe.
It's a fight to be a leader and be a mentor. And
No, mentor
have
as in once they leave the company, they would
The-
still want to be around you.
the fight is solving each and every problem they are facing. Whenever they come to you with a problem, you need to have the solution,
Mm.
and they should feel that today I have worked this much. This is the
Correct.
end of my project, and I have this small issue, and I have no answer. Go to this guy, ask for it. It will be done. This is what you have to be.
Yeah.
To be a leader,
Yeah.
they have to feel it inside.
So leadership,
That's
not
a
just in the
challenge. That's the fight.
Yeah,
I'm
their
talking
problems
about.
are your problems along with your
own problems.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
to exist with.
Absolutely. And you have to wear a lot of hats when you're at it, right? I mean, be it right now, you might be facing challenges maybe on I don't know, the front end bit. And maybe someone in the HR team is acting out and she's also bringing her problems to you. So all in all, as a person, you are wearing a hat of an HR manager to even the front end manager to even someone who's sort of taking care of the admin bit. That the fans aren't working at the office. That's again a problem which you have, right? So I know. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot which an individual actually goes through, but I guess the payoff is really well. I mean, not just the fact that I'm trying to
Gradually,
say-
yes,
yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
But in
With
terms
time,
of the
obviously.
grind, it's amazing to see someone actually put in that, that blood.
The
and
higher
sweat.
you go, the bigger you fall.
Yeah, so I mean, high risk, high rewards,
Yeah.
Always.
and it's a drive, and one gradually should develop it. I feel, and failure is a very key element to this.
True.
Like not giving a fuck about things, and that is how you gradually, start taking risks.
No, hang on. So the last particular bit when you were talking, the one thing which I could correlate to the overall concept was still abundance. So your dependency,
Letting
exactly. So
the employee leave
your
types.
dependency certainly is going to be on a certain set few people. But if you're planning somewhere in advance in terms of having like we were talking about systems in place wherein the dependency is on the seat and not on the person, right? It's more of a bureaucratic organization. I get it, but
No, actually, it's always the person.
I understand.
Because Every
I understand.
manager would
Hang
differ.
on.
The quality would differ.
No, I totally get it. I mean, it is going to be in terms of the skill sets that the person brings.
That's why
But
there are protocols. And every other person who is coming on that seat will follow the same protocol.
The
So that's the
efficiency
part of
varies
system.
actually. Like
So that's going to be the part of system, right? As we spoke earlier.
yeah,
yeah, standard
correct.
operating procedures and those things. But certain things you cannot control, right? Wherever there are very
So the style
subjective.
of working differs, right? For the same task, if you give it to two different people,
Sure,
the presentation would be different.
but think of it from a snowball effect. How much does it affect your by how much? I mean, in terms of percentage, how much do you think your end revenue is going to be impacted? I'll tell you why.
Impacted by
By the efficiency of one person compared to another person, not the overall team. I'm talking about one person compared to the other person. The person X having say a 100 efficiency and the person Y having a 90 efficiency. To how mission critical does that person need to be for it to affect your
like the scenario that you've given,
Hmm.
it varies from business to business. My
No.
business revolves more around one-on-one interaction.
Correct.
The execution is done such.
Correct.
So one inefficient leader,
Hmm.
let's say a manager basically,
Hmm.
can actually screw things for me.
but maybe let's do
So-
2 levels below
Hmm.
that manager. That inefficiency, how much will that typically
So on a micro level,
Yeah.
those few
grants
to
or,
a certain extent it can be entertained.
Okay.
But then it always has to be like if I'm little inefficient,
Hmm.
the one above me, the one I'm reporting to,
Yeah.
should have the covering ability. So
Right.
again, that's how you improve efficiency, right?
Yep.
The one below has to be a little more efficient than the one above, basically. Last will be a little inefficient, then the second last should have the skill set to cover.
Right.
Then it doesn't. Like till the time it goes macro.
Then mission critical is the whole.
So that's
name
why I
of the
said
game, right?
managers.
Yeah.
If then it directly affects the business.
Hmm.
The managers on executive level, like there's a protocol, there's a drill, right?
Right.
3 months. If there's no performance, you put them on PIP, and then after a month, you dictate.
Adios.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
The
then
thing was-
the same cannot be entertained. You for a manager, because a manager has a team, he has certain powers, the execution ability, wherein he doesn't have to ask you for approval
Hmm.
because he can take certain decisions at his own discretion.
Hmm.
So if that person is not the right type for your business, then that, like, just imagine what his team would be doing.
Agreed.
Because like I once learned, like, like in my one of the companies where I was employed, so I was consistently reminded, like, and it was the first time I was handling a team, and I was constantly reminded, like, Abhishek, like I was saying, the guy below, he can be a little inefficient, but the one above him has to cover up, should have the skill set. So I had 4 area managers, so who used to report to me, and then they lacked motivation, they lacked the hustle, they didn't want to roam around on the field that way. So I used to cover up for them. I used to work on the weekends, never take holidays. So because ultimately it
You
gives
miss-
my
you
impression.
miss working at nights also.
Yeah, correct.
Mm.
So ultimately, the head office, Bangalore, would look at what Mumbai is doing. If it's not doing good,
Mm.
then Abhishek is not doing good.
Ownership level.
So that's when I was taught ki Abhishek, I was advised that Abhishek, you need to either fire those area managers who are lacking the motivation, because if you do not do that and bring your numbers up, the performance numbers up, then you will be fired for sure. Because the normal perception is ki if the executives are not doing good under certain leadership, the fault is in leadership.
Agreed.
Yeah, your ass is on the line.
Absolutely.
Always. Yeah.
So that's when I learned the dependencies have to be created at certain points.
Correct.
Where the person has to feel the warmth. I didn't want to say wrath, but the warmth, like aka consequences.
Correct.
If they do not perform.
So that's one thing I've seen. Like now I'm running a food industry. Jay is from the construction and the civil engineering
Infra.
space,
Yeah.
infra, and AB is from
The services.
services,
and
Services,
media.
and he's co-founded a lot of
Yeah.
ventures as well.
Correct.
And you
I-
wanted to escape from the being the inside guy. No, you also have your strengths, by the way.
I get it.
work
I
from
mean,
the
I
inside.
wouldn't call it the weakness bit, but then certainly there was
It's not, it's
somewhere.
It's a trait.
Correct.
It's a characteristic.
It is somewhere where I wanted to do away with it also. Things
Yeah.
were working, were not working,
Now,
but
I
irrespectively,
really
I guess.
wish. Now let's I'll push this conversation into a direction where we were talking about in the last 20 to 30 years, along with the internet, we've seen a lot of business ventures, which is a company of one.
Yep.
Okay. And there's a very famous book which goes by the name of Company of One. You should check it out, or
Okay.
readers can check it out. Company of One.
Yeah.
Okay. So the book's called Company of One, and which talks about the last 30 years we've seen entrepreneurs working as a one-man show, a company of one, where you're selling a product or a service. Could be moving physical product or may not be moving physical product, but
Okay.
and you have, instead of hiring a bunch of employees, you have contractors,
Right.
said specific
Hmm.
pros in their field who come and they provide you their expertise at a fees, and the transaction is very upfront over there.
Right.
You don't have to deal with employees, because as a business owner, it does consume a lot of time, energy, and effort. And I know it's an integral part of conducting business and creating an organization. But that's another very fascinating concept. I've always been obsessed with the fact that if I could run such kind of a business from a remote location.
Yeah.
Somewhere I'm either in Manali or I'm in Himachal or I'm in Goa or
Yeah.
I'm in Auroville, anywhere.
Hmm.
Okay, all these good destinations come to my mind where I'm sitting, traveling, but I'm by the side, I'm running my company.
Hustling,
My,
yeah.
my
By the way,
business is-
Freshworks CEO operates from his village.
Wow.
They got listed in NYSE
Right.
and he moved back to India
So
to his
that's
hometown.
the dream job. I can't walk
Right
away from my
cycle.
So
business
I
tomorrow
guess
morning. and
we don't need to go far to identify this one person company. I know one guy, his brother,
Yeah.
Pankaj. He does have a one person company.
Correct.
He hires people on contract. Still, he's very well aware that he might need a structure later on. So he's planned out that through his CRM.
Tell us, what does he do?
So he's into pharmaceutical trading. More, I would urge him to sort of bring to the light. But the way I've seen it as a third person, pretty much self-sustaining, doing terrific. Was working out of Goa the other day. At times working out of Egypt, Rishikesh, wherever. So all he needs is his laptop, and the business is up and running. So I mean that's the way you bring in structures, right? But then now I guess naturally we need to try and understand that certainly there were certain businesses which were working in a particular fashion, but with the latest internet that we were talking about coming in, which started off with Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and now we're here at Web 3.0. Things are moving more on the internet. Things are moving more on the RPA, that is robotic process automation. So all your mundane basic tasks are being done by robots, which is nothing but codes, and they're doing things like
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. You talk about
Correct.
internet. So there's trillions of dollars flying on the internet everywhere. All you need
Agreed.
to do is,
grab
you
a
know,
few.
you put your antenna out there, provide a service, sell a product, do whatever
True.
you can figure out, and direct some current in your way, currency.
No, so I mean, it initially it was more about setting up your store somewhere where there would be more crowd coming in. But right now it's the store on the web, and how can you just pull the crowd within? I mean, that's the definitive skill set which people might just be looking at. So perhaps sort of moving from the mainstream side of things to moving on to say a Web 3.0 wherein things are pretty automated. I guess you can work out of Manali or the remotest of the area till the time you get your. I mean, Manali is not remote for sure, but then certain offbeat places till the time you have good internet services, and I guess Reliance is doing that terrifically, at least in terms of mapping a lot of areas which are sort of unseen. But I guess this particular connectivity bit, there's someone in the room who can really help us understand how good connectivities has he been getting in terms of his entrepreneurial journey towards more of. I've seen him as a wildlife photographer. I've seen him more on the traveling bit.
I carry 4 SIM cards:
Wow.
Airtel, Vodafone, BSNL, and the Jio.
Geo, yeah.
Because I need to be connected when I go to the wildlife sanctuaries, the forest,
Correct.
for my surveys or for photography.
Yeah.
And Geo works the best. And you are
Yeah.
right with that. 4G is coming all over, and I think most of the remote areas that earlier I used to go, like even Tadoba is very famous. I would talk about Tadoba.
Yep.
Earlier I used to go, there was no internet. None of them. I think only BSNL, and in the cities you don't get BSNL. It's only the remote areas.
Yeah.
But now you get Geo.
Right.
Yeah. And so that is one remote area where there are many more. And there are tricks also which the locals know how to access the internet even when you have 2 days of no network. So if
Okay.
you learn those tricks well, then you can go the most remote where even the tourists are not allowed.
Right.
And you can stay there, work from there.
From there.
I've been to in those situations where I've seen the locals trying to arrange.
How do they do that?
It's very funny. So once I was in Satpura Tiger Reserve, and I was doing a survey, and we have to stay inside the forest. So of course, for 3 days there was no network, and that was my first survey. And after 3 days, I was like, I do need to get in touch with my family because this is one trip where I am not in touch. My phones are not working and nobody's phone is working. It's been 3 days. So just call up, give a missed call, or even a message is fine. It's very not that hectic. But so there was a forest guard. His younger brother used to stay with him. He said, let's go inside the forest. I know a place where you can get network. So he took my phone. He took me there. He took my phone and he made a sort of a funnel out of a bottle, a plastic bottle with a rope. He hung it on the tree. And at that particular height, he told me, you have to go up, dial, and leave it hanging. So I climbed the tree, I dialed the number inside the bottle, left inside the bottle, and it was hanging on the tree and it was on speaker. Because I cannot hold it. It has to go in that particular small 1 square feet of area. And I was getting 4G on my Airtel. So if you have, you have that skill set.
Correct.
Yeah, you can go to the places.
Superb.
Yeah. But one thing I know of this one small little story. So there's this person I know of. He belongs to a very remote area in somewhere on the inners of Latur. Okay. Within, I guess, he was talking about around 2 kilometer radius. There were 2 towers of Geo which were set up. Every individual giving the land gets a rent.
Correct. You do.
Gets electricity paid. All he has to do is whenever the electricity goes away, just go and press the button for the generator.
Correct.
And that's about it. And you have connectivity, in the remotest area. So this place doesn't have roads. It has towers. You have roads, but not as good as the highways and the city roads, right? So, that was something very interesting. And this sir, whom I know, does have one on his own farm. And they're generating good money out of it as well. So it's a win-win, right? For people like us who want to be connected for our work or whatsoever or something on that.
So there are 2 businesses we are talking about here. One, where you can go, travel and have network to work on it.
Agreed.
Second, you won't be the one providing network, the DG guy.
You have land? Erect a tower.
That's a lot of R&D to figure out which tree and which square feet exactly.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of figuring out.
Oh, absolutely.
I still have a picture. Another forest. I have a picture. It's one small table. And at one corner, he keeps his Nokia phone in a particular angle. So I was talking on a speaker and I touched the phone. He's like, don't touch the phone. Network will go away. Like, okay, sorry. And he adjusted the phone back in that particular, and I was getting 2 signals and I was, because if I pick up the phone,
Wow.
And no other area around for kilometers, there is no network. But that particular table had.
No, but how do you think is the traveling and the photography thing going to be maybe say later on in life? So perhaps can that be a major source of your living as such? Or
if I get good into video editing, I can make good videos and basically it's videography. I will have to make wildlife films. Like I know one guy, Shazum. He's very famous. Everybody knows him, I guess. He's very, very famous.
The one who lives in Belapur.
The one who lives in Nagarhole, in Kabini Forest, south of India.
It's localized.
Yeah. And he has made a documentary on Black Panther for National Geographic.
Yeah.
So that was his skill set, that he was very good with videography. And then, he had also interest in the wildlife. So he made a documentary out of it.
Wow.
So how big a crew is?
I don't know the details. Must be 3-4 men I saw.
Okay.
The gypsy. But back in the office, I don't know.
Wow. Must be having some post-production.
Risky as well, right?
Oh yeah, why
Risky?
not?
Fun. I mean, it's the gypsy, not that risky, but I think you guys should go for a safari.
Yeah, never been on one.
I've been on one, Ranthambore, but
Nice.
just one.
I
of
think
them.
a guy, when you said earlier in the start was it on recording or no? I don't remember. But you asked what suggestion would you give
Hmm.
if you're when you're 18 or something?
To your 18-year-old
self.
self.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think maybe sell for someone else. I would say before getting into any business,
Hmm.
travel for a year. Travel as an entrepreneur. Go to every country you want to, the state you want to, live wherever you want to, and just explore businesses.
Hmm.
Culture is different, religion is different. If you explore them, but convert each and every opportunity that you
Hmm.
can to into a business, and come back and start working on it.
Okay.
That's $1 million advice right there. Your entrepreneurial third eye will open up.
Oh, absolutely.
Completely. You'll get those hound dog ears the second you see something. I mean, that's the thing. Now who was that? Was it Rockefeller? David Rockefeller made his
Yeah,
fortune into oil,
Oh yeah.
but then
Rockefeller. Yeah.
made even bigger fortune into transportation of the oil. He saw one employee of his sitting around, and walking with a barrel of oil,
Yeah.
putting it to the other spot, got a penny for it,
Hmm.
got a nickel for it,
Hmm.
even. And he's like, done. And this happened when he was traveling to South America or somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the story. Made billions, made a fortune just transporting oil.
Correct.
That's a very meagerly example, by the way.
Exactly.
I mean, Jay would give you way cooler, way more fun travel stories and the entrepreneurial third eye stories, basically.
No, but I've seen people. Like we were talking about the type of conversations we used to have early on, and now people talk about opportunities much more. Uh, they themselves are living those lives wherein they are constantly identifying places, possibly for business, or at the same time even looking at it from a very plain and simple, a very simple question like how much would be the rent of this particular place. I mean that inquisitiveness, that curiosity to know.
Looking at a car makes you think about mileage probably instantly.
Yeah.
So is for shops.
I'll give you one good example.
Hmm.
A friend of mine, he is an architect.
Yeah.
He used to work in Bombay for a very long time. He moved to Surat for
Okay.
one simple reason. In Bombay, the houses are very small.
Yeah.
Correct.
Matchbox.
For example, a 2 BHK is 1,000 square feet. But
Right.
in Surat, a 2 BHK is a 1,500 square feet.
Correct.
So he gets paid for 500 square feet extra doing the
Wow.
same work. So he moved to Surat. And he keeps moving to different cities, the developing ones where there is new infrastructure coming.
Right.
He keeps moving there. And he's earning good. He's doing well. Of course.
He should move to Karjat. He'll have 8 acres, man.
2 BHK, 8 acres. But yeah, Karjat is up and coming, man. That's doing really well. So I guess people are, like the last podcast we were talking about, right? People are opting towards certain offbeat places to live. Maybe still be connected at a particular given point of the day. But rest of it,
No, you are pretty connected. You've got
Correct.
Wi-Fi. I have my friend of mine.
Hmm.
Shout out to you, Siddharth Modi. Hey, Da, what's up? I'll send you this podcast link for sure. Anyway, so he's sitting in
Yeah.
Karjat. He's a high-level programmer.
Right.
Works on Matic. Works on a fan DeFi
Wow.
NFT website.
Hmm.
Writes code for them.
Hmm.
Okay, writes the whole backend code for this website, and gets paid in Ethereum. The whole deal. Sitting in 12 kilometers inside the forest,
Yeah.
where the nearest beer shop is like 25 minutes away. So he's stocked up well, by the way.
Okay.
That's one thing I learned from him. But sitting in the middle of nowhere, making very decent money, $4,000, $5,000 a month, getting
Right.
paid in Ethereum, sitting in the forest and programming, and his view is like the foothills of Lonavala. That's
Wow.
his living room. And he sits in the porch, plays some guitar, smokes a cigarette, and back to work. So I mean, when I meet him every time, and I'll be meeting him again in like 2 days. So he's just living it, man. I just tell him, man, you're living the life. This is what
True.
you want. You're close to the nature. You're all happy. You're running your one-man show and you're killing it.
Correct.
But coming back to the whole travel and the whole entrepreneurial mind thing,
Hmm.
every site you see everywhere, you as an entrepreneur, you're always running numbers in your head.
Right.
That ability of running numbers within a couple of seconds, your whole, sort of a business model worked out in your head.
Right.
And it's like a muscle. The more you do it,
True.
the more things you see, the more times you run that calculation, the sharper you get. So when I
Yeah.
go to a vada pav guy,
Hmm.
I run a set of numbers. When I
Hmm.
go to some other hotel, I run a different set of numbers. When I
Yeah.
go to a cafe and I run a different set of numbers, often I'm disappointed, but I still do run those numbers. And the same thing, yeah, you go to
Correct.
different spots, you go to a homestay, you go to, you name it, anywhere. And
Yeah.
you are constantly running numbers, and sometimes the number game will strike you so well that you're like, okay, boom, that's something that I want to explore or dip myself
Maybe,
into.
yeah. Correct. So I guess that happened for me in terms of crypto. I guess that's something which actually caught my interest in terms of beginning
Yeah,
my journey
you were
to it. Yeah.
frothing from your mouth when you saw the results,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
returns,
I
right?
mean, absolutely. It did work for me. So surprisingly enough, I bought into the dip and exited in the maybe one of the very top
Peaks.
peaks that was seen as such, to a decent tune of 7x on an average in my portfolio. So that was something to definitely believe into in a span of 1.5 months. So that was
Oh, I'm jealous, man. Yeah.
no, I feel stupid because I invested barely anything. I could make barely anything out of it, but then that money did help at a time which it was actually needed. Keeping that aside, the emotion aside, but I guess crypto is something which is uh, how do I say, things which are not explored as of now. A lot of people are still trying to sort of maybe try to dip their toe or maybe just try and seek.
There's a lot of taboo and stigma already around in our culture anyway.
Hmm.
There's a lot of stigma and taboo around stocks in general. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's it's
Yeah.
gamble,
Yeah.
it's this and that, it's haram, it's whatever. I mean,
Hmm.
so many stigmatized words around it.
Yeah.
But the middle class doesn't buy that many of stocks. They take policies or
FD,
leave their
RD.
money in the bank,
Yeah.
FDs, RDs, whatever you want. Okay, post office scheme.
Correct.
Which is just, oh my
Pension
God, why
schemes
would
and
you want-
everything. Yeah,
Pension
yeah.
scheme still makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, and who buys? Whose money is circulating in the big market? The rich people.
Yeah.
The top 10% or the top 20% people. So already there's very few people in the stock market,
Right.
and now crypto, which has even further stigma and
Hmm.
I would say a brainwash against it because it's as equal as stock, along with your coin that you buy has a use case.
Correct.
Okay. So, and it's a valid thing. Like, I mean, we were talking about Bitcoin. The philosophy behind Bitcoin is your central banks control the boom and bust cycles of the economy. So, Bitcoin was a response back to saying that this is the people's currency and it's going to be like gold. So, how much money the people invest into this coin is going to be the said value of it. And this can become a store of value completely out of the hands, which it is not right now. Supposed to be completely out of the hands of the government. Okay, which they don't have any means of control to tomorrow cause a boom or bust or say, demonetization, de-Bitcoinization happening, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was the common man's, crypto is supposed to be common man's freedom. It's the
Exactly,
sticking up
exactly.
to the man.
True.
Right? Sticking up to the bankster, so to speak. Okay.
True. So that's where the DeFi's and everything came in, right?
Everything, the whole
decentralized
philosophy
finance
came in there.
Correct.
So to bring back the point home, there's a lot of stigma around crypto. So what people should do is just start using one basic thing.
Hmm.
Not invest more than 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 bucks. Obviously, put in what you can afford to lose because that's like your tuition fee. You're learning around.
Correct.
With it.
Putting some skin in the game. Yep.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So you said, so crypto was one of those things where you ran your numbers as an entrepreneurial.
Exactly.
As an entrepreneur, and you saw, okay, this is
The risk
juice is
reward.
the juice is worth the squeeze, high risk, high reward.
Absolutely.
And this is something that you want to baffle in.
Agreed. So I guess then it came at a cost of understanding how much money can you actually put in to lose as well. Right. So I mean that's the appetite that you have to actually let go of things, and sort of bring in that trophy home as well. So maybe it might not be as good as a 6x, 7x in the next 1.5 months, but I guess being bullish on a longer run, I would highly recommend people to actually read about it. Definitely, do their own research and sort of try and identify those set of projects which you want to really work upon. But then ultimately, it's the investor's mindset as well, right? You need to know the business that you're investing into. So to a certain extent, I would say that do your reading work, do your. I mean, none of us sitting here are any financial advisors as such. What we're doing here is we're trying to identify and come out with our set of experiences in terms of how we've seen the crypto space or how we've seen any particular side hustle or as a business which can be flourishing. So, I mean, crypto could be one. I see gaming as an industry going places. Uh, I mean, there are full-time jobs of people and who are actually earning very, very well in terms of a salary, not even from, say, the Twitch accounts or any of the live streaming accounts. They're doing really well in terms of just playing games. Probably a lot of movies have came in as well. One of them, which I was seeing called as Ready Player One. Oh, it was something which actually made my belief even more stronger in terms of the metaverse. So things are going to go game.
So I believe this would be the contagion of the future
Perhaps.
in a good manner, basically. How
Absolutely.
Contagion before time portrayed a scenario.
In a good way and a bad way.
It can be.
I don't
the
think-
umbrella
I
of
don't think-
control.
I don't think one should depend on such things for the earnings, for the major earnings.
It happens though. I mean, the times are changing so rapidly.
Correct.
One
I
could have
wouldn't-
not even imagined.
I wouldn't advise anybody to have a career in such things. I'm
No, so-
talking about having a career in this, but if you're doing it, you're enjoying it, and you're not dependent on it, it's fine.
No, because
Because
it's
these
also
things keep changing, right?
exactly. So it's
Volatile.
a sensational business. You want to, as an entrepreneur, okay, you could be the star of the day, make your living like all these YouTubers
Yep.
that you hear about. You make your living in that surge, in that sensation. You are the sensation. You ride the wave, but after a while, the wave does fall.
So I mean,
And
you
you
cannot
need
get
to-
complacent.
you
I mean,
need
that's the
to-
whole
yeah.
premise, right? So
You need to venture out in different things. then
Exactly,
after that.
exactly. So
Dream
Sachin-
another dream.
Sachin Tendulkar earned his big bucks by playing cricket, but then he also became an entrepreneur. He started investing other places as well. So I guess the other day we were talking about businesses as a commodity. And people are looking at it more from a commodity standpoint, wherein can they buy off certain shares, maybe certain control on a particular business, and then maybe flip it for a larger amount. So that's something which is again very, very interesting in terms of at least having your own venture capital as such, wherein you're probably identified another 50 businesses and invested as per your own appetite, and maybe have certain other uh, HNIs or high net worth individuals taking part in those investments as well, so that the quanta going out is huge. The significant chunk of the business is also coming in, and at the same time, when the business is flipped in 2 years, 3 years, it's a very good exit that they usually see. So again, the hit rate is going to be certainly low. None of the businesses that I've ideally seen is going to have a very high hit rate as such, because I mean, again, the larger chunk of money can be made only from the one or two good opportunities that you get out of the plethora of the ones. Is what I've been actually seeing. But I guess I'm keeping it open for anyone to debate on as well. That do you think larger places where you actually take risks in terms of say 100 different portfolios that you're investing into as a venture capital or maybe as an institutional investor or a retail investor for that matter, how will you peg your overall portfolio then? Maybe anything.
How would you peg your or like how?
Pardon me. Yeah. How will you diversify your overall portfolio in those sense? I mean, how do you see the overall scheme of things?
I like of lately noticed
Hmm.
the difference. Like I've always wanted to have my own business.
Yeah.
And I, it's quite fascinating when you come across a movie which talks about investment.
Hmm.
Where it showed that this company received funding like Social Network,
Hmm.
where they're showcasing like Peter Thiel is writing a $500,000 check.
Yeah.
their first seed investment.
Right.
So I always found it very fascinating. So I was like, and again, like to be an angel investor, it's not like the ticket size always has to be 25 lakhs or more.
Yeah.
I had surplus money, I invested.
Right.
So my appetite is such, like, again, this is not an advice, nor do I endorse anything that I'm saying, but it's my belief and this is what I've been following, that I initially started off with day trading in stocks, lost a couple grands,
Yeah.
made a few grands, and
Yeah.
then once I had money, like that's what I was seeing around, right? And people holding a position in a company,
Right.
positional trading basically, then investing in mutual funds. So even I did that. I did it till the time where I had limited money, where I was living off only of my uh, meager salary that I was getting. But after 2019, I developed a pretty cool appetite for myself, and I invested a certain amount in mutual fund, and then after that, I went almost all in on crypto.
Yeah.
I took out a personal loan, and I invested a few of my money too, and I have a very decent portfolio. And I believe, like with time, if I give it probably 10, 15 or 20 years, like if all things go well, I'm gonna be a big guy. We'll be having like 4D video podcast basically. So again, so
Amen.
that is one of my long term investments that I've had, and my again, like money helped me change a lot of my perceptions as well. I was never a guy who would. I tried a lot of times to stick to SIPs. After 3-4 months, I had to quit. I had to withdraw, or I stopped investing. Let the money there. But now because I could not see the future well. Like, why? Because I was always in need of money and I could not be a long term committed, oriented guy.
Yeah.
But then again, money changed me. Now, if I'm starting a business, I just want to pick a business wherein I can run it for the next 10, 12 years, because that is enough for me to, like, be almost where I am. Every business that I start will take me at least 25% up over a period of time if I'm able to sustain that, the
Yeah.
momentum. And so I had surplus money, so I I allocated some funds to start that institute in Rishikesh. It goes by the name of Deska, wherein we teach design and IT courses. So that was one of the biggest risks. Like, I've invested a very good chunk, and again, it's a business, right? It could all go to zero. If there's a lockdown, we would have to shut our institute. Then we would have to pivot to online. It's not a pivot, but it's a very difficult transition.
Correct.
To go from offline coaching to online coaching now,
Yeah.
right? The model would change almost entirely.
Agreed.
So again, depending, like now we've grabbed a certain market share, and then I don't know if we have to move it to online, then how well we would do. So again, it could go to dust in no time, and crypto could go to dust in no time.
Yeah.
So I've allocated what my appetite was, and now I've decided, like, either I would like any surplus income that I have, 25%, I would prefer allocating it to gold or certain mutual funds, and the rest has to go to invest in businesses. I have notes wherein I've identified certain individuals who are running. They are one-person company who are running their own businesses. They are service-oriented businesses.
Yeah.
So I'll be allocating certain funds. I'll reach out to them. I don't know how they would respond.
Right.
But again, you just need one single-digit lakhs is at times enough when you're trying to put in your money at a very initial stage.
Yeah.
Get some equity for you, right? And those are the investments that will pay off. Even, like, there has to be a certain understanding, trust also before you invest in them,
Right.
because the person is that will drive everything.
True.
So the person has to share your passion for wealth as well.
Correct. That hunger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is how I do the allocation for me.
Right.
For me, I'll be investing at least for the next 3 years or 5 years. I would want to. So I've started small scale. So I understand, and it's a feel good factor as well for me.
True.
So I would only want to increase that.
Very nice. I'm learning quite a lot.
True that.
Actually, yeah, I've never invested heavily in stocks. Maybe a small amount just to get to know how things work here.
Hmm.
But never been able to give that much time. So that was quite a learning.
Jay, I
sure.
want to ask you one thing. Where do you see like you being, I would say, the only person into the core brick and mortar business among all of us?
Mhm.
Where do you see the future of this? Because without your industry, nobody can,
The future is huge.
Yeah.
Because when there is no money in the market, so government has to push in money in the market, right? So they can not only, but this is the biggest way for government to push in money.
Yep.
The infrastructure projects.
Infra.
So of course, it requires a heavy deal to get into this business. Me being blessed, it's an old one, and I already had the setup. For the new ones, it requires a heavy deal to get
Right.
into this one and work with the government. Otherwise, working with the private is also a good deal, but it has its own risk. Government secures that risk at a certain level.
Right. And then the connections that you've been making, like you said, that it's been since a while. It's a legacy business.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does add a lot of value. But your investment strategy, how do you think have you been doing your investments in? I mean, I'm not asking for the secret bags that you have, but what are you bullish on? What do you think is going to be the big thing? I mean, certainly with the disclaimer that it's your personal
I didn't
2
get
cents.
it.
So how do you allocate your excess or extra money in terms of investing or
I plan for new businesses. I save for it,
okay,
and I plan for new businesses to start with.
okay,
And meanwhile, before it starts, for like the meanwhile savings, money keeps depleting if you just keep it like that. So you have to invest it somewhere, right? That's what I
Right.
mean. Meanwhile, I do it where it's needed to grow my network.
okay,
So it's loans
okay,
where I grow my network.
okay,
It will help my business.
right,
I place it at with the thing with in the invest. I invest it where it's easy to take it out. Whenever
Okay.
I have an opportunity, money should be liquid for that
Liquid, yeah.
particular period. And it should be
Liquidity,
also
yeah.
invest. Yeah. Because when you have a huge network, you get more opportunities.
Right.
And sometimes you can you can be a dealer for two people,
Okay.
and you will have to invest somewhere.
Hmm.
Like you have a seller and a buyer for a particular product.
Yeah.
Right. And you can buy it and sell it. Right. So you want that money at that particular point to be liquid.
Hmm.
To be it's basically being opportunist.
Okay, but then does
And
it come with a
that's when more money or even money will attract more money.
no, so
So-
liquidity?
Because
I don't-
I'm sure
Yes.
when there's a buyer
Hmm.
and a seller, there would be multitude of opportunities wherein, like, I've heard Pankaj say this, like,
Hmm.
if he has 100 CR,
Hmm.
he could make 100 CR. out of
But
it.
Yeah.
I don't run behind each and every opportunity leaving my core business. I am dealing with my savings. So I try to grab the major of it. Like whenever the opportunity is near to me,
No, even
where-
in your business, like when there's
where I
buying
become
or
the
selling.
where people start depending on me for this
Hmm.
particular deal, that's where I try to put my money in and multiply it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because I am busy with my core business, right?
Correct.
Meanwhile,
So
I
it's a
meet
side
people,
hustle,
I
yeah.
have a network, and he wants to get into something, or he's coming up with a great product, and he wants investments. Okay, I can.
So he's
get
the
to some-
Mr. Wonderful.
Mhm.
I
That's one.
dictate.
But you have to have a portfolio where you invest long term, short term,
Mm.
and something that can be liquid. That's for
True.
sure.
Varun, what about you? Your bags. How has
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
the number of income streams he has.
Yeah.
He runs a cafe.
Hmm.
he can make money from it, obviously.
Yeah.
Desi Labs, he
Correct.
makes money out of it.
Yep.
Because it's been going on for a while now.
Yeah.
Then he teaches
Music.
music,
Yep.
money making.
Yep.
Then someone wants to produce music.
Yep.
Right? Oh, sorry, performances.
So
Performances.
performing,
Fuck, 5.
I guess 5 or 6.
Yeah, and one
Process.
more if I'm missing out or you forgot informing us.
I mean,
Is
all
there any
anything to
sixth?
do with music production comes under the studio. Like we are producing this podcast tomorrow.
Correct. That's why
Tomorrow
I
I have a
stopped.
Punjabi song recording. Then I have a Lions Club anthem recording. So
Nice.
all
nice.
that gets covered under the studio umbrella.
Okay.
So I'm doing I have my toes dipped into a lot of spaces, but it's that hustling space.
Right.
It's beautiful that
Where-
music, that vertical, that skill set that is acquired,
Right.
is enabling 3 different streams.
Correct.
of,
Correct.
Like passive income or however you term it. And it's wonderful, actually.
Correct. So I'm dipped into these things now. Coming back to the point where I think where I would allocate my future. So as of now, I mean, to be very honest, I'm into the space where most of my earnings get reinvested into the business that I'm trying to currently establish. I'm trying to
Right.
form my golden goose, which is my cafe. Maybe one day I would like to have a chain of these cafes, set up
Right.
good systems, a good management team, and everything, and provide with the food and the restaurant industry is you need to provide a consistent service and be available all the time. Okay, so people you provide value to people, and they are willing to part from their money because of the value that you have provided to them, and that's how you grow into that thing. So
Right.
so as of now, it's all my bags are into my own current business. Like how you guys are already have somewhat established your businesses. I'm still into the growth phase. I'm still hustling every day. I've been up since 8 a.m. today, and
Wow.
it's
How old
12.
are you again?
I'm 27 and a smidge.
Nice.
So so that's happening, and as long as what I think has a future is obviously, I would agree with Virat and AB Chan. Crypto is definitely the future. I'm invested heavily into it.
Yeah.
And I've kept aside whatever older savings that I have from playing in Andaman and playing the Orissa Hockey World Cup
Wow.
and this and that. So a lot of those stories. I mean, the money that I got from that, whatever savings I have, is into crypto, and it's sort of like a rainy day budget, a rainy day fund. You know, I'll take it off. The coins that I'm invested into are not really uh, bombarding as much, but
Yep.
they will someday, and you'll hear about it.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
so that's there. And what else do I think? I think the main thing is, I would say a lot of the IT sector has kind of, it's like a bubble that's already saturated itself.
Right.
So I would still, my faith is still into brick and mortar businesses, into businesses which become the integral part of an area's economy.
Okay.
Could be, now this covers a plethora of things. Could be something as simple as a cafe, could be something as complicated as like some service provider. Maybe you're providing internet, maybe you're providing logistics.
Hmm.
Okay, so that thing, I think fitness industry is going to grow huge. It's going to keep growing.
Oh, absolutely. I think
Today only I read, so Chris Hemsworth, Thor, the actor.
Yeah.
Okay, so he set up, right as the lockdowns began, he set up his own app called Center, CENTR. Okay, this is not a plug for them, but he set up this app where he's showing his own workouts along with his personal trainers. Now there's 5-6 of them. He's cooking nice meals and everything. You could get a membership of that app and have all the access to all the videos where he's literally standing and talking to you for $110 a year. So nothing.
Nice.
That's like 12 grand for a year.
Okay.
Okay, so the app had like 60 million downloads because Thor is into your phone talking to you that, hey, work out with me, man.
Wow.
So everyone gets that experience
Yeah.
along with his personal trainers, a Marine SEAL
Ex-Marine,
trainer. Yeah,
yeah.
the whole, very, very cool. For women also, there are women
Wow.
trainers, and he's sitting working out with them and he's
Wow.
showing you that, hey, these workouts are not easy. Anyway, so he just sold his app yesterday to Mark Bezos. of High Post. I think he runs this entity called High Post. So sold it for 200 million.
Oh.
Company valuation is 200 million, including the debts and everything. Sold it,
It's
and now
not
they're
even
gonna-
5 years old company. I
It's
believe.
2.5 years.
Been watching ads since COVID.
Starting in April of 2020, May of 2020.
Hmm.
So what month is it right now? April.
April, yeah.
So it's been less than 2 years.
Wow.
There you go. So that's how
Wow.
you know, I mean, he's obviously like a celebrity status.
Exactly.
He's Thor, man.
Exactly. I mean,
So-
so the goodwill which he
But
brings with it.
The way he conducted things and now sold it to a multi-major corporate entity, he's still involved with them, and they're going to do like a 2.0 version. But this is the thing, like, you know, how he backed on that opportunity of what he already had, converted it into a bigger golden goose.
Wow.
So very, very inspirational. So coming back to the topic, fitness industry is definitely going to grow.
Hmm.
Then I have some guilty pleasures, which if you want me to mention, I can mention.
You could.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay. The she economy. Your hair dyes, cat food, and now we're talking some guilty pleasures. Okay, cat food, hair dye, box wine subscriptions, fairy
Alright.
lights, and that whole thing. I think that's going to grow as much as we don't want to admit it. It's going to grow massive.
Okay.
I definitely have a
You're
feeling.
bullish on that. Yeah.
I'm bullish on that. I need to figure out a way how to become a part of, like, you know, investing into that.
Exactly.
I sense that it has a future. That's like that's a little bit of like what do you say? Not even crisis investing. That's more of like the guilty pleasure investing.
Yeah. That's something. That's definitely something. So I guess, yeah. Maybe let's then just move towards saying something nice about to your 18-year-old in terms of what exactly is the advice you would like to give. So Jay
Financial
did start off
advice.
with one.
Financial advice.
Not a financial advice, but as an advice for a
How to-
person to
How to live life
As an
ahead.
entrepreneurial
Exactly,
advice,
more
and
around,
it's just
yeah.
not entrepreneurship in your business. You're
Hmm.
an entrepreneur in life, man.
exactly.
So that, I mean, let's start
So-
with you, V.
So
What do you
I
think?
think the only advice which is going to be a financial advice here is fucking buy crypto as soon as you can. Buy bitcoins even with the $2,000 excess that you have. I mean that's going to turn into millions. That's for sure. But nevertheless, I think getting an early financial education is one of the most crucial things for you. Is what I would tell my 18-year-old self. Sure, salaries work. Sure, businesses work. But how does money work? When you start understanding the nature of it and the power that it brings in, I mean that's something very, very important, I would say. Apart from that, Jay touched upon a very, very fundamental topic, which I would always want to tell my younger self is you do business not just for yourself, but even to create the greater good within mankind. So, like he was quoting Tata's, I've seen within my family businesses which are more empathetic, more towards creating the greater good, and borderline philanthropic as well. I mean, wherein the heads of the businesses knew the smallest of the issues which any of the employees in the businesses would have. I mean, to that tune of empathy. So that's, I know it's usually taken as a sign of weakness, but then I would still say when you're dealing with people, there is no one single way of sort of carrying your day-to-day activities out. You need to find and try and be as I would say flowing like a stream of water, and try and adjust your way around in terms of the empathy and the sheer rigor that you can sort of bring for that push. And maybe finally, I would say the biggest thing which I would say which I really want the 18-year-old me to realize is um, the actions that you're doing at a particular point of time is going to yield the same set of results for you. Till the time you don't really take risks, do something different, maybe dip your toes in a few other things as well, it's going to still yield the same old set of uh, results for you. And it just doesn't make sense to, sort of have an emotional attachment to the current set of actions because you want to grow, you want to be bigger in life, and that's going to call for uh, larger larger activities which you want to pick up. Sort of put in the work, put in the grind, time you have. Sort of put in that, and I don't think you need anyone else to tell you that. It's just yourself which you need to sort of put in at that particular point of time. And yeah, and finally saying that you're amazing. That's one thing which I would definitely tell my 18-year-old. But anyone else want to pick up AB or Varun? Or yeah,
I would have only two things to say.
Yeah.
First one would be learn taxes.
Oh yeah.
And secondly, it would be get
which they don't ever teach in schools in any way, shape, or form.
Funny enough, I would still beg to differ. I learned taxes in school
Really?
only. Yeah.
I'll tell you what
CBSE.
I learned.
CBS.
So I
Mitochondria
was
is the
blaming
powerhouse of the
myself.
cell.
when I said learn taxes because I didn't pay attention to it.
So exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
people think of it as a very strong math book, but I learned at least the basis of income tax, which is my salary
It's
bit.
very important
Correct.
once you start making money, be as an employee or even as an entrepreneur.
Correct.
And the second thing I would advise is get skilled at being disciplined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's a big one.
Being
It's
being
big one,
disciplined,
big
yeah,
one.
big
Shots have been fired.
I repeat.
It's like most difficult task.
Hmm.
You could solve your business challenges, problems, difficulties you would overcome, but get fucking skilled at being disciplined. I mean,
True.
Okay. I have this display picture which says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of who of what you really love. It will not leave you astray."
It will not leave you astray.
100%.
Exactly.
100%. Wow. But what
Look at-
else
look
would
at
you tell?
Varun, he's been following music.
Hmm.
He's doing amazing.
It's not as amazing as you think. I mean, where is my McLaren 720S?
The jazz.
Oh man,
player,
I was on my way to work the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm getting down from the bridge in Belapur, and
Hmm.
I see a McLaren 720S, the
Wow.
orange one,
Wow.
zoom right past through me. I'm on my bike, and boom, boom, boom. He's already halfway done with that whole highway stretch mile.
Absolutely.
And I came back here, and I'm like, how did a McLaren in Bombay streets really? And then it turns out they just opened a store in South Bombay like a week back.
Oh wow.
And I'm
I
like,
have a friend.
oh really?
Yeah. He
Tell him
wa-
I already hate him, man.
He just moved from Mercedes to McLaren.
Oh,
Wow.
God. Could have been him test driving all the way to the
Perhaps.
Anyway, I mean, coming back to the whole financial education topic, be ready to receive. I mean, this is the thing. When
Right.
the student is ready, the teacher shows up. I was at Andheri station where I used to go every day.
Correct.
I told you that story.
That
and
book. Yeah.
I used to buy a pack of biscuits from the same biscuit wala, the shop at the station. And one fine day, my train was late, so I just wandered around to the bookstore, which is just the next spot.
Yeah.
And I pick up Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's the day I learned about the cash flow quadrant, about how self-employed people are the business professionals are taxed the most. Then is your self-employed people when
Yeah.
you're running a business of 1 or 3 people.
Hmm.
Then it's business owners, like an organization or a private limited, and then it's your company.
Correct.
500 employees or more. So and the whole lot. Our parents will not teach us about this in detail
Hmm.
as much as we would like them to. We don't get this. Only the rich people teach their kids about
I
money.
mean, their knowledge is
Is limited.
Limited.
They
Right,
obviously do
right.
their best. Nothing to take away from that.
Correct.
But just be aware of the fact that the key is in your hands.
Agreed.
Whatever information you need to go out and seek it. It's definitely not going to be handed
To
into you in a like
Silver
a,
platter.
like
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the thing. Like the financial education part. Like when we learned about how money works, how
Hmm.
businesses work, and this and that when I was like 23, 24. And I'm like, man, I've been doing it wrong for so long.
Right.
And what I wish I could go back to being 18 or 16 even
Hmm.
and have this information then.
Yeah.
I could have done something something sooner,
Correct.
my course of action would be so different. Like I would be on a completely different spot
True that.
by now. Not to say it's never too late. You can
I
always
agree.
turn
I
your
agree.
life around.
I agree.
But with the right discipline, which AB Chan fired the shots with.
Hmm.
And so the financial education part is just too like. And the next book I bought was Grant Cardone's the 10x rule.
Yeah.
Where you learn about real estate and this and that.
True.
and such kind of things. So just the financial education.
Maybe
part
some
is
more
just-
name droppings here.
I mean, just watch Grant Cardone's videos.
Yeah.
It'll fire up. Not even like a fire under your ass. It'll be a full blown lava under your ass, man. Watch Grant Cardone ka videos or Robert Kiyosaki or my
And the
favorite
guy
guy
is 60 plus, huh?
Yeah,
Grant Cardone.
Hmm.
still full of
more
energy.
than
He
60
does
years
so
old.
many
Oh, yeah.
things and still wakes up at 5 a.m., works out each morning, blah, blah, blah. Does this whole routine, flies to 4 different cities a day, has
Yeah.
his own
Yep.
jet now. And just doing deals, real estate deals, like
Highly efficient.
very efficient. I mean,
Dwayne
I
Johnson also said, right? I mean, by the time normal people would get up,
Hmm.
I've already completed my workout twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mark Wahlberg has a
Hmm.
schedule which I want to try it out once. He gets up at 2:30 in the morning.
Hmm.
He, for the first half an hour, like he prays, then he hits the gym. So again, like before we people get up, he's already worked out twice.
Yeah.
He follows a very strict regimen and he sleeps off by 7:30, 8:30. Like
Wow.
that. So basically, I've something that's very common that I've found across the people that I've whose content I've been consuming and the people I've come across with who run businesses, they were all early risers,
Hmm.
all early risers, and I
agree.
personally
So that's the
have
discipline we were
Yeah,
talking about
and
earlier, right?
I've personally felt like even I have a habit of getting up early. I get up like at 6:30. That's when.
No, I get up late, but I'm very disciplined with the rest of the day.
So again, that also matters, right?
Exactly.
See how
exactly.
productive your day is.
Exactly.
If you've been working for 8 hours,
You do
then-
what you decide.
No, I mean, it's not just discipline bit, but even maintaining that consistency.
that again comes with discipline.
Again,
yes.
it comes as a part of it, but then on the longer run, the more you are disciplined, with the compounding effect, the growth is going to be leaps and bounds.
yes,
That's
yes.
100%. I mean, it's so. I guess it was one of the podcasts that we were talking about in terms of aiming for the stars and reaching at least into the
Correct.
sky. But
the fourth one.
but let's try to bring in some sort of a different perspective to this. Why not even aim smaller and take up the first
So,
step?
I forgot saying correct. If it's the first
Correct.
step or your 100th step,
Correct.
to a certain extent,
You could do
initially it is fine to aim low.
Right.
But then once you've ventured
Don't
into
be
being an
comfortable in that.
entrepreneur or you've taken risk again,
Don't be comfortable in the
complacent.
smaller.
Correct,
Exactly.
correct.
Yeah.
Not that I beat myself up, but I don't think where I've personally cheered that like things have obviously been going good for me, but I don't beat myself up, but I don't cheer as well because I know where I can go.
Yeah.
And the market is such.
Hmm.
The market is such. It's a money making market. The times that we are in, it's digital.
One
So-
person company and wow.
Absolutely.
So, what sort of content would you recommend someone to really go through, at least to maybe try and identify a journey that they might want to take for the financial education bit for sure?
So,
Yeah.
When you say financial education, then like I could think of taxes. So there's no one that I follow. I
Tax
sit-
education at its
Uh-huh.
place, but I would say any podcast you would
so
recommend or
Gary
any.
V is
Yeah.
what I started off with,
Hmm.
and then I stopped consuming any. So occasionally I come across shots of Gary V where
Hmm.
he talks about motivation, empathy,
Hmm.
but I don't try to listen to that.
Hmm.
Now that I know I'm in the zone, in my head it's sorted
Hmm.
that I'll be the self motivator.
Yeah.
So now I hear podcasts extensively. So
Exactly.
the time that I used to earlier spend on Netflix has reduced.
Hmm.
Listening to songs has reduced.
Hmm.
Only when I'm taking a shower, I prefer listening to.
Music.
It's Poppin'. It's a song by I don't know some
Yeah.
rapper. It's a very good song.
Hmm.
So I prefer listening to that, and then I again get back to my podcast whenever I'm in a cab driving to like going someplace else. If I'm not on calls, then I'm on podcast and doing my work.
Mm.
So I keep podcast as much as possible in my head, so I can do my work efficiently and consume the content as well. So
So guys,
impulsive, full send. So and Raj Shamani is what I've been consuming of lately
Mm.
because he has two guests. I didn't follow his journey. I don't intend to.
Mm.
But then he had Kunal Shah. Kunal Shah is someone that one should pay attention to. Yes, beautiful words. So that's how like it was Kunal Shah, and I didn't care who he was with.
Yeah.
So for Kunal Shah, even Beer Biceps episode twice he's
Ranveer
come
show,
on
yeah.
the Ranveer show. So I have seen that as well.
Yeah.
Then
Who was
pretty much
that guy
it.
from CoinDCX, right? No. One of the podcasts you had suggested.
The founder of CoinDCX
Yes.
again on the Ranveer show.
Right.
was there.
Right. Very, very good one.
Correct.
So I think maybe that becomes more like your an entertainment getaway, but don't see it as just an entertainment. Maybe you can try and self-reflect upon a few things out
Oh,
of it.
they give you
Correct.
perspectives.
Exactly.
Give you perspective.
Exactly.
So there are so many takeaways.
Right.
And you could keep listening.
True.
For a certain period, you could keep listening again and again, and you would infer different things.
True.
So it happens with me.
So it's,
lot
it's
of
more like
times.
an extended version of a TEDx, and it's like it's like a human book. I guess that is what they say. That the person himself is trying to tell or come out with his or her own life story, right? So
Correct. And
Uh-huh.
Joe Rogan is what I've been
Oh, yeah.
consuming. Like
I was going to ask you, how did you miss JRE? Man, big shout out to him, but yeah.
it took time actually.
Yeah.
So Joe Rogan, do check out Sadhguru's episode.
Absolutely.
So
So that's a separate spiritual path, but more from a financial or maybe more from a money related. Anything else that you think?
listen to entrepreneurs talk.
Wow.
So
On-
again,
I mean, just network with them, get their lives.
so you're talking about content or
Yeah. How do you actually learn more, right? I mean, how
so
do
by
you
watching
increase-
content actually and coming across
So I mean,
people who do
learning can be
businesses.
various ways. So, like I would say, I would box Varun's answer more as sort of opening that book and doing the bit. I'll box your answer into more of say in your free time, try and consume data, which is important. I would possibly box another one of your answer in terms of networking. That, be in a room full of entrepreneurs where they are actually talking opportunities, right? And try and maybe, if nothing, at least listen. Forget hearing. Listen what is going on. You might not understand the jargons. It's completely fine. If you don't, note it down somewhere. Google it later. Ask the person for that jargon. Maybe show that curiosity, because I guess that's the only thing which these entrepreneurs seek if someone is coming up to them, maybe as an apprentice or howsoever. That is he curious to know? Because I remember the first podcast you said, I'm just sitting here with the knowledge. Whosoever wants to come to me and take this knowledge from me, I'm giving it away.
Yeah,
How
it,
many-
it makes good money.
how many people actually walk up to you is something very, very is a point which you actually need to ponder upon. I mean, not you per se, but for the podcast listeners, of course.
As long as my thought doesn't change, I could
Exactly,
wait and
exactly.
there's- because I don't seek anything out of it.
True.
If I've got 100 people approaching me how to start influencer marketing agency,
True.
that doesn't define me in a way.
So you reminded me of this one quote which Pitbull was saying that people have this weird relationship with money, right? So they say that money doesn't buy happiness.
It buys like once you give it away.
Exactly. I mean, that was so good, man. It does buy happiness. It's only that when you give it away, that's when you buy happiness.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine you've got a friend who's starting up something, and if it makes sense to you, if you see
Yeah.
there's money
Yeah.
and you put your
Mm,
buck in
mm.
as an investment,
Forget
beautiful
investing.
impact.
Forget just investing. Even if you see it from a place of no return. For example, just not having any bias about the returns bit. Maybe investing in someone's education. Think
Oh,
about the
feels
time.
good. Yes.
Because I know you've done it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I've been loving since the time I've been making money is because I've been able to do a lot of things that I've
Exactly.
always had in me.
Exactly.
So I just need a lot of it.
So I know we were wavering away from the fact that, what do you want the
So my company pays
Yeah.
50% of the education fees of some of the oldest employees.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, that's definitely
It does create that impact. I mean, at least from an individual standpoint, I feel at peace that, I contributed how much ever I could
Yeah, you said you had
for
funded
the
your maid's
maid's
kid.
kid. I mean, it's important, right? I don't want that kid to ever owe me anything. I just want him to go ahead and probably help someone else. That's probably the chain which you want to begin with. So, I mean, not just financial education, but to certain extent, certain empathy. Because I know for a fact that you are not going to take your riches out along with you when you are going to go away,
Yeah.
right? So, what are you going to leave behind is going to be legacies which you create. And how are you going to create is going to simply define how many people are going to actually cry at your funeral.
what you do today is a gift to the future. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in Homer Simpson's word, what I drink today is tomorrow's Homer Simpson's problem, not mine. So yeah, drink responsibly. But if I have to share my 2 cents on, or rather 2 satoshis on how do you really want to sort of bring in that financial education bit, I would always say that please and always please pay attention to whenever there is finances being spoken. uh, you might have a problem with mathematics or whatever. If you can understand simple addition, subtraction, uh, multiplication and division, that's all you need to understand finances. There's no rocket science to it as such. It's just that when you sit with it, give it some enough time, persistence towards understanding is going to help you. Second, I would say maybe inculcating like habits like podcast definitely is going to help you. You are already trying to invest. I mean, fuck invest. I don't think that's investing. You are putting in your time onto Netflix, onto Amazon Prime. Why don't you just buy a freaking uh, Audible? I mean, no
that's the
promotion
thing.
for that,
That's
right?
the thing. You're always investing. Either could be the wrong things.
Exactly,
or the right
exactly.
things.
And please complete.
And the one final thing is, if you are in pain, right, in terms of your financial bits or whatever, how do you address that pain is what is going to matter. You are either going to end up hating the whole world, saying that this is not fair, this is this person's problem, that person's problem, the system is a problem, everything. But how can you really work your way around and identify that pain as an opportunity for you to grow, or try and maybe identify ways to avoid those pain? Yes, that's somewhere you would ideally want to be, is what I would absolutely
True.
recommend.
I think my mind is framed in a such a way that investing only means where you appreciate.
Okay.
My mind is framed in such a way.
Mhm.
Like buying something that is not your need is not investing. You can't say that
Okay.
I am investing in a car
Mm.
because it
It's a
will
big
appreciate.
liability.
No. So,
So yeah, say
for the car, I would say I've had different perspective from people.
opportunities are different.
Agreed, but
Yeah.
but if your business is into going to places, the car becomes your legs. So it's completely dependent
So
on how
depending
you
on
see
your
it.
position.
I mean,
And
what he's saying
your-
is leisure buying or just buying
Correct,
stuff you
correct,
don't
correct.
need to impress
Exactly,
the people you
exactly,
don't want, you
exactly.
don't need.
The
Things
other
like
day
that,
I was
yeah.
talking to a cousin of mine. He happens to be 19 years old,
Hmm.
and he's in Delhi.
Yeah.
So he's also working with us.
Right.
My organization.
Hmm.
So I asked him like, what are your skill sets
Hmm.
as of today? So again, very shy kid, couldn't say anything. I said, what do you seek? I mean, are you passionate about anything? Do you have any interest?
Hmm.
So he was like, yeah, I thought of coding
Hmm.
because in 12th, I was a topper.
Hmm.
learned Python very quickly and this, that. And I asked, why didn't you pursue coding? Because the obvious answer would have been money. But he said, then I thought digital marketing is better. So this period is very tricky.
Correct.
This age where you want to do everything.
Yeah. But I would still say that's a good thing that you become a jack of all, you'll become an entrepreneur for sure.
Yeah. But then again, that's what I said. Like,
Yeah.
like what are your plans? I mean, how can I further supplement? Is there anything that you seek that I can help you with?
Yeah.
He couldn't think of anything. So what his idea was that he wants to chill. He's in second year. He's doing it privately. So he doesn't have to go to the college. His only concern is the exams are offline.
Right.
He has to go to a center and write his exams. He's like, till third year, I'll enjoy life. And then after that, I'll any which ways have to work.
Yeah.
Then I'll figure out.
That's the problem for tomorrow's Homer. Yep.
Alarming proportions.
Exactly.
Alarming proportions.
I did that.
Right. But
So again, depending on your scenario, right?
Exactly.
Depending on your financial circumstance,
Correct.
situation, the decisions have to be made, because if you're not doing well, if obviously by 19, most of us don't do well, we are dependent on our parents. So if your parents are not financially sound, you have to take the initiative of working your ass off, starting off early, because you won't have the advantage per se compared to your
Correct.
friends who are better off with
Correct.
money,
Correct.
doing well.
Correct.
Right?
And you won't be able to identify those opportunities also because you're not working towards any opportunities in general. Because at a later stage, I guess when you're supposed to pay the piper, when the time comes, I mean, you can't just say that I was living a chill life, right? So there are going to be
So don't be afraid of stress. Don't be
Exactly.
afraid that you would be missing the parties of your friends, birthdays, wedding.
drinking.
To me, it doesn't matter.
My life has been very different. I don't know I should air this or no.
You should.
But
You should. We want
I
to.
actually planned my life in such a way that I want to chill and study. That I wanted to study more. So, but there was an age when when it was 21, I was 21, and my dad told me join business, also study. And I thought, I think business is too hectic. And so I decided to go out of the country to study and chill. And all that 1 year, I traveled 3 different countries. I did backpacking. I made a huge network, a lot of friends. I enjoyed my life. Now, when I'm here working, struggling my ass off, I don't have this, that, I'm missing on to things because I've been there, done that. So you need to do that for once.
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
so
I feel like even when you start off your career, so like you said, not that I'm trying to contradict, but again, these are perceptions and the opportunities at hand.
It depends
Like-
on the mindset, I would say.
no, it also depends on
situation
how much,
also, bro. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's like I had a lot of people start working because of the financial condition in the
Correct.
family.
Yeah.
So they cannot afford a even 8K vacation because every penny that they get has to be given back to the family. So what happens is like I didn't have the privilege, nor I had it
a
in my mind.
surplus. Yeah.
Surplus, or even I did not have it in my mind that before I start off working, I started working when I was 17. So that I should travel and gain perspective. Business was the last thing that I had in my mind. But then again, now whenever I get an opportunity to travel, I always have it on my agenda.
Yeah.
Even if I'm traveling to Pune, for that matter, or even like we stay in Navi Mumbai, even if I'm going to Mumbai or any area, I always look out for what people are doing. How are they making money? So I am able to do it now, and it makes all the more sense because now I have the surplus where I could actually put it to play.
So I guess I'll maybe put it in a perspective for all the listeners in a way that it's kind of a combination of the both the statements, right? If you definitely have a surplus, go travel, because the type of experiences that you're going to
Yes.
get beyond godlike. But whenever you have that surplus, maybe early on, maybe later on in life, do give travel a shot. At times, solo traveling is much more, sort of paying you back in terms of the experiences, in terms of being comfortable in your own thoughts. Because that's when you are actually for a very long time in a solitude.
You learn to enjoy your company.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's good that Jay could do it at an early stage. I am still trying to figure out my bit. You've begun your travel journeys right
No,
now.
but here's the
So,
thing, na,
yeah.
you have your own versions of travel.
Exactly.
You don't have to go to Mexico and sit at Cabo San Lucas and have that margarita, right?
Right.
You can go. You don't even have to go to Goa. Even if you can't afford it, travel actually in India especially. Just pick a destination. Just go. Take the journey. Take the ST bus. God damn it. Go to bloody Alibag and just take a walk at the beach. It's free of cost, man.
It is one's
That's
own
what I mean.
derivation.
I had my cup of challenges when I came back. Those are on a different level.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, so I, like I told you, when I came back into business, it was a very tough time, and we were actually in the grounds at some point. In 2017, I opened a new company. It started with 80 lakhs of turnover. 2021, it was 12 CR. This year, I filed for, today we are in April, I filed for 26. The last 1 year, I haven't traveled. That last 1 year, I haven't really gone for a huge vacation until I finish my targets. So there are times, there are rewards to it. There are times when you get a chance to do it. When you don't, you put your 100%. Work
You
hard,
know
party
when to
hard.
take a
That's my
break.
funda.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I have my fundamentals. Work hard, party hard, enjoy your life.
Absolutely.
That is
Yeah. And
good,
sometimes
actually.
that gives you a peace that you have enjoyed your life, and then now now it's a time to work. So work for it.
So you
And then
remind
when
yourself like what is all this struggle and slogging for a little peace
Yeah,
that comes in form of travel.
yeah. I think it's very important, and don't be afraid of stress. I think it just comes to you, whether you're afraid or no. But you should not be afraid to let it out. You just take a vacation. You might lose.
I mean,
a little,
to
but you'll gain a lot.
like like I personally find it difficult. Like even if I'm like 2021 January, I went to Goa, and that was a time when we were just venturing into the furniture business. I couldn't enjoy because firstly I was feeling guilty that I was not in the office, and then it was like I always kept telling myself that this could have been done quicker, this could have been done in a better way had I been in the office. So, and anytime, like even Sundays, I have a habit of working because then somehow that guilt crops up, that this is not going good that way.
And one thing I've learned in life while I was traveling, especially, uh, when we go outside, we meet a lot of people, different people. They all are skilled into something.
Yeah.
Right. Because they give time to their hobbies. When I spoke to a few, they said, I sit for 1 hour, 2 hours and do my hobby. What I really love to do, I do that. My work is different. Even if I like it, love it or no, I need to do it, whatever be it. But what I really love, what I enjoy, I give 2 hours, 1 hour in a day. Here, when I come back to my daily routine, I can't give 1 hour every day, but I try to give that one Sunday to it. And that really keeps your mind at peace.
Exactly. That weekly
It's a
dose.
good
That
practice,
Be it
actually.
traveling, be it whatever, be it traveling. Travel
absolutely.
for short distances, but go into the nature or go meet friends, whatever be it.
Correct. I agree.
You have your music, do your music, things like that. Yeah, like Virat kya acha naasta hai.
Virat kya mast dance karta hai.
Correct.
So yeah, that's my Instagram handle. But again, that's a way for me to blow off some steam.
Exactly.
And I think this
That is-
podcast also came into existence
Exactly.
because we mutually agreed on it. Like,
And by the way, guys, I'm not on Instagram and Facebook. It's been a while. It's been 15 days. At
Yeah,
least.
rishtas are still welcome, but yeah.
The DMs are piling up.
Oh, mama.
So that's just because this is a peak season for us, and I need to invest my time at the right place.
Right.
So it's and I'm temporarily not on Instagram. I wish to go whenever I'll be traveling next. I will be active, but not right now.
The Wanderlust Diary.
it's a good name.
Absolutely. Virat kya mast dance karta hai is also a very good name
Absolutely.
for tooting my own trumpet. But
I've been banned thrice on Instagram, so I'm not even going to mention my name. They'll ban me again.
I'm not playing.
ये नटखट हरकतें करता लग रहा है.
But then I guess
But tell us why. Tell us why.
That's for really another podcast.
definite another podcast.
Every
posted-
question I bring in is another podcast.
is another
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah, it's
You're opening a whole can of worms each with each question that you ask.
absolutely and peeling an onion with every question.
It's
and
a
that is
different rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
So many analogies. Anyway,
True that.
I post a lot of.
Instigating.
I'll sum it up in a joke. What's the difference between conspiracy theory and a reality? 6 to 12 months.
Oh, we should
So I-
talk about conspiracy.
So
theories.
I post
Soon,
a lot about
soon.
that thing, and the technical overlords don't like it as much. So yeah.
Well, yeah.
So one fine day I'm gone from Instagram. I can't log in.
But yeah. So that's that. I mean, I guess a lot of good golden advices which have typically been sort of created, and I mean, I guess maybe coming towards a natural end towards the podcast, I would say put in the work. That's I guess the whole premise of this podcast is making people realize that sitting on your butt is not going to help as much if you're not doing anything along with it. I mean, play games.
Unless you get paid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a very utopian job, but but ideally, I mean, if you play games, record while you're doing it. I mean, that's digital content. Content is the new oil. Create as much content as you can. Speak to people. Read books. Inculcate good. I mean, not good, but productive habits. Discipline
Be
and
mindful.
oh, absolutely. Be mindful in general and be aware. The whole premise of this podcast, having values, having awareness, having balance, and having experience. These things are pretty crucial. In terms of the business bit of it, I would say taking risk is what is something which is going to take you places. The same set of actions are going to lead you to the same set of actions, and put in the work. Go out there. Find that passion which you've been sort of wanting for. Blow off some steam whenever required. Don't sort of have a very stressful relationship with your passion or the hustle which you want to really
Yes,
work on.
because business is stressful, and
Everything
it is filled
going
with
to
ups
be.
and downs.
Yep.
And that's the adventure.
Yep.
You can't wait on the shore. If you want to swim in the sea, you can't wait on the shore waiting for the waves to stop. Right.
Yep.
You will have to learn to swim in the waves.
Correct.
So that's just about it.
Maybe jumping into the water also
Yeah.
is the only way for you to learn, right? So
Yeah, correct.
doing that work is going to be the name of the game. And as much as I might sort of dread saying this, but then laziness is not going to help you or take you anywhere. You need to end of the day get up, go out there, and sort of win and just be
And
back and
to
enjoy
all the
riches.
listeners, to all the listeners,
Yep.
move out of the comfort zone, and you will see
True
the
that.
magic start
Embrace
happening.
discomfort.
True that. The minute you identify there's a comfort zone, do away with it.
Go.
Absolutely do away with it. And I guess, read books, read content, inculcate those habits. That's certainly going to help you reach places where we're still on our journeys right now.
And ask more and ask often. I mean,
absolutely.
Don't feel ashamed. Like you reminded me a few days back, right? I
Jo
mean,
sharmaya wo,
bhooka hai.
absolutely. The
They'll
person who's
always,
shying
a
away.
closed mouth cannot
always
be
hungry.
fed.
Never.
So
Never.
keep asking. There's nothing stupid or anything like that.
Correct.
Because that will get you a lot of answers. And the person will give you an insight or two more about that topic.
I mean, it's so simple to get people talking. Just ask them about their problems
Oh, absolutely.
and done. And you can tell so much about a man by the size of their problem.
Right. So, yep, that's the sixth one. It was a beautiful episode, and I think we started off really fun and reaching to a very natural sort of takeaways from this. Sure, we aren't really financial advisors, so I would urge you guys to sort of read about things. Maybe a few name drops would certainly help. Do read it through the books. This is certainly going to help you out in the longer run. And yep, that's us signing off. Within the room with me, that's Mr. V, AV Chan, Varun, and Jay. And yep, thank you so much. And
Next
have
one
a
is
great
going to
day.
be about minimalism.
Let's see where we're gonna sort of
We'll
come up.
connect today's and the minimalism.
Absolutely,
We can do
a
that.
lot of things coming up. And yep, that's me signing off. And thank you so much for sticking around. Peace.
You just heard the VAbE podcast. And this is us signing off, leaving you all with a beautiful, beautiful track. Music credits in the description below. Find us on the major platforms by Google, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Links in the description. Show us some love in the comments below. And do tell us what you loved about our thoughts. This is us signing off yet again. Peace.
You've broken my heart. I'm yelling, it's hard. It's not the way it should be. Need a moment of ecstasy. At 2 under moonlight, I sit and drink our wine, trying to make us combine. It's not what it is, what you remind. Oh, you good, crazy heart, babe, I'll catch you. Please don't fall. You're the